Jason Gleason. So, how long have you been mechanicking now?
Well, went to school in August of 95, UTI. Got out in February 97, into the workforce, and I retired from mechanicking in June. Will be 3 years ago. Now I'm just a dump truck driver.
Yeah.
Cement mixer and dump truck.
Dump truck driver. So, what do you think the difference, stress or whatever, between being a mechanic and truck driving? Is it same or different?
A lot less stress, but depending on your job, there's stressful stuff in driving. It just depends on where you're at, but where I drive to, most stressful I got is I gotta go into Bremerton or Silverdale.
That's city driving. And that's the worst.
But I will take Silverdale and Bremerton any day versus Tacoma, Puyallup, Seattle. A lot less traffic over here. But it's a lot less stressful than mechanicking. And now when something breaks, I go to the shop. Our guys take care of it. They fix it, and I do something else or go home.
No worries?
Yeah, no worries, yeah. No more, it's got to run tomorrow, and you're there till midnight, 1 in the morning fixing stuff, or, and there's a lot more free time and family life now, which is nice.
Oh, yeah, the family time's a tough one to beat. And you also have a sawmill. Something you do on the side? Is that your own wood, or do you
just do it on the side anymore?
Yeah,
just do it on the side, and we're working on putting it back together right now. We had it apart for about 2 years, so we're working on getting it back together so we can start making boards again.
You got any big projects planned once you get it going, or
build a second woodshed?
A second woodshed.
One woodshed is not enough. It'll be nice to have 2 woodsheds, so that way you can not worry about trying to find dry wood, and you never know you never know what summer you're going to get. So it'll be nice to have 2 woodsheds. So one woodshed, by the time you get to it, it's going to be sitting for about 1.5 years. So you're not going to be so worried about putting in green wood.
Yeah.
Because right now we're taking out a bunch of maples at my cousin's property, and green maple, you need 2 years for that to dry and cure proper. It ain't like fir.
I need to start working on mine though already.
Oh yeah.
Fall. But. And then also, I don't think a lot of people know, but you do with the fire department.
I'm a commissioner with Brennan Fire, Jefferson County, District 4. Doing that now for going on my 4th year.
4 years.
3 year for going on my 4th year. So yeah, I've spent about 8 years altogether. 8 years prior as a volunteer with Enumclaw, District 28, Mineral, Lewis County, District 9, and then moved over here to Brennan and got asked to be a commissioner. So we're commissioner / firefighter with Brennan. So don't run too many calls, but you definitely learn what it takes to run a department. It don't matter if you're a small department or the city of Seattle. That's all the same stuff, just different size budgets.
So I just thought of that. Our local fire department wants to do a levy, and they got certain people that just hate them.
Oh,
just talking.
You're never.
You got that same issue?
Oh, we don't too much. Most 90% of our I'd say 95% of our community is very supportive. And that was evident last year. We had the 2620 Roads fire there on Mount Jupiter, and which everybody saw that, and the community support was hands down. We had people there from Georgia, Florida. We had crews from New Mexico. Guys have been doing it for 8 months to 20 years, and they had never seen the support. They'd never seen it, hands down. I mean, we fed those guys. Those guys could not believe the food they were getting. The last night, the crews were out there officially on the fire line. Our other commissioner, Justin Matheson, owns the Halfway House. He fed that whole crew the last night prime rib.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah! I mean, the guys were.
Oh, he had Hamma there feeding.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When before they transitioned to the Camp Parsons, when we were still feeding them there in town, Hamma come out several nights. And, yeah, they were out there helping. Guys were getting steamed clams, oysters. I mean,
well, they probably didn't want that fire to go out.
The crews, I mean, you talk to all the guys, there's guys that have been doing it, they're 8 months, and guys have been doing it for 20 years, and they had never, all around the country, around the world, and universally across the board, none of them had ever seen that from a small town.
Really?
I mean,
cool.
the guys got spoiled. The first 3 nights that they were there, we had, you met her, Crystal Rogers, or
Yep.
Crystal, she's married to Joe C right now, Crystal C, right? She had an ice cream truck there
Yeah.
for 3 nights. And the guys were like, I finally had to kind of get in there the second night, like, guys, this is on us. Get what you want. And they're like, anything on here? I mean, it was open chuck, and those guys you're seeing guys from 18 to 45 act like little kids getting otter pops and ice cream cones, and getting 2 or 3 of them. They're like, holy, they just,
Well, when you're fighting those wildfires, I don't think people realize how hard they're working.
Oh yeah, you're burning thousands of calories a day, and then you get treated like that, but no, I mean, you're always going to have people in a community that are against the fire department. You're going to have ones that'll defend it to their last dying breath. It's you're always going to have that, unfortunately, because, fire departments get paid with tax money.
Yeah.
Your taxes go up, the fire department needs to do a bond or do a levy. They unfortunately have to go to the customer, which is you, the tax-paying citizen. And, it can, in a bigger department, a bigger area, it can get contentious. When you're asking people for, $100 per thousand, per 10,000 or whatever the assessed value is. But, if you don't support your department, you call 911.
There's a lot of the people that will scream that they're being taxed too much, but the fire department is the first ones they call when they have a problem. So
and there's a lot of programs out. Mason County is doing a lot of them with the CARES program. Because you're in Pierce County here. I don't know what they have for a CARES program, but Mason County's got CARE program. Kitsap's doing stuff. We're doing stuff in Jefferson County, to try to help with the frequent flyers.
Yeah.
That hey, let's get somebody some help so they're not. But yeah, everybody.
A lot of what we're doing right now is with the DNR.
Yep.
And it's the wildfire fuels reduction.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I tell everybody, it's like you watch California, catastrophic fires. It's just a matter of time until it happens here.
It's becoming our new normal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and the problem is, we've created the problem, and then all the environmentalists and everybody that, well, we can't log this, we can't do that. Well, now you've got a fuel load. You go to any old growth forest, you don't see the amount of underbrush there is now, because an old growth environment is sterile. There's not a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
And now you've got, houses being built where it used to be old growth forest, and there's all the underbrush. You don't manage it, it's going to burn.
Mother Nature will take care of itself.
Yeah.
So you went to UTI. So if somebody was wanting to get into mechanicking, it's a school that you'd recommend for them?
Absolutely. There's good programs all over. You got Bates, you got Rent and Voctech, there's programs everywhere now. It just depends on what you're looking to do and what field you're wanting to go to, and UTI's got a lot more campuses. When I went there was 3. There was Chicago, Phoenix, and Houston. And now they've got campuses in Sacramento. They've got campuses all over the country now. It just depends on what you're looking to do and what you're, what do you want to work on and what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to work on big trucks, you want to work on cars. A lot of your dealerships now offer programs to go to learn to work on just their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a young guy getting into it, what's one piece of advice you'd give him on that? Show up every day. Beyond
having a heartbeat, you got to have work ethic.
Yeah.
That's
something we were failing on a lot.
There's a major shortage in tradecraft. Listen to Mike Rowe. I mean, that's why he's done the things he's done. There's abundance of people. There's overabundance of people who want to work in offices, there's a sore lacking of individuals who can actually get in there and get dirty and work on stuff.
Yeah. Across
know,
the board, we've been finding that everywhere from timber to construction.
Nobody wants to work. There's there's good money to be made working in the trenches.
Yeah, the trades. That's going to be, they're predicting that the trades are going to be the next high-paying job here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, whether you're working union, working in construction, or working on cars and trucks and buses or whatever, there's not enough people to work on stuff.
No.
And
they get paid a premium for what they do.
Well, and, depending on where the economy's at, with tariffs going up, people can't afford to go buy a new rig every 4 years. So now they got to fix
what they got.
Keep fixing what they got, and you got to have people that know how to work on stuff. I mean, it's hard to be able to work on everything anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's computerized down to brake systems.
I mean, it is. It's
if you're good
on miss the old days when you just is simple, but those are done gone.
Put a screwdriver to your ear and listen for the tick. It's hard to do that anymore.
Yeah, you got to have. We're just working on this. You got to have a computer just to even get half a clue what's going on.
Yeah, you got to be able to have a computer to look at stuff, and unfortunately, not all computer systems. Scanners can do everything. CAT has their own program, Cummins has their own program, International, everybody's got their own proprietary software, and even though they regulate it where you have to have stuff out there for the general person to work on it, but sometimes, unfortunately, you got to have the proprietary software to really be able to get in there and know every little tick and heartbeat of what every sensor's doing.
So I was just kind of curious. I was thinking about this the other day. We do a lot of this wildfire mitigation, forest health improvement, and I'm not sure if it's the right word, but I'm very intimate with somebody's property, more so than the owner.
Oh, yeah.
So when you work on my trucks, do you have the same feeling about that? Because you know that better than I do.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the insides better than a lot of the drivers
do.
Yeah.
It's... I've worked at places where guys have been there for 20 years, and you never have to adjust their clutch.
Yeah.
And I've worked in places where I'm adjusting a guy's clutch once a month. And two things, something as simple as a clutch adjustment. Two things cause the clutch to be adjusted. You slip it, or you use it as a footrest.
Yeah.
And I've had guys go, why don't? I said, dude, there's only two. I've had drivers that have worked at a place for 25 years. I never had to touch their clutch adjustment. And there's guys where I've had to adjust a clutch on a monthly basis. Then in a year, I'm doing a clutch, I'm replacing a clutch because they burned it out. I can, a lot of your older trucks, by working on it, I can tell how a guy treats it. I know what breaks. I know why it breaks and what causes it to wear out. And I could tell how a truck, I can tell a lot how a driver is by how the truck is.
So you like building engines?
Yeah.
Which motors are your favorite to build?
Cats.
Cats, hands down. Yeah.
B model up to a C16, a cat, hands down. I can do a cat blindfolded. Second engine. Yeah. Second favorite engine, probably old 855 Cummins. Least favorite, even though they're a good engine, my least favorite to rebuild is a 60 series Detroit. They're a good motor, millions of them out there. But I grew up a cat guy, and I mean, I rebuilt your engine in your truck. And actually that came up in my Facebook feed day before yesterday when I think it was yesterday or day before, however many years ago that was, that when, and when I in-framed your motor, rebuilt it, and even when you first bought it and brought it up to me, I looked at it for about 5 seconds, yep, we're rebuilding the motor.
Yep, we're closing in on 200,000 on it now, and haven't had any problems with it. She starts and runs.
Actually, she's about due to have the overhead ran on it.
Oh.
Which would take me about an hour to do the overhead on that one.
Yeah.
Again, I can about do it blindfolded, but my favorite engine, it's Ford, Chevy, Dodge. I'm a Ford guy. You know, I'm a Ford guy, diesel engine wise. You know, in the big trucks, cats, they're easy. I understand them. You know, least favorite are the Mercedes MBE engines. Unfortunately, I've got to know them very well. Working for a guy in Shelton, one of the customers had a bunch of them, and unfortunately, some reason I got to know them very well. They're a powerhouse, but boy, when you have to work on them, they're a pain in the butt. But my favorites are by far the cat engines.
Perfect. So, hey, thank you for taking time and talking to us.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it.
First time I've done one of these, so it'll be interesting to see.
Hey, folks, this is Dan Wehmeier, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you or anybody you know would like to sit down and have a conversation, please reach out to us. Until next time, thank you.